What I love when I'm traveling around, and I know that a lot of people do who watch this channel, and I'm so grateful that you do, is finding out about other people, the way that they shaped our lives, that sort of stuff. And the blue plaques are absolutely tremendous, aren't they, for doing that? Because I don't know about you, I look and think, oh right, so they walked through this door. Remember when we went to Noel Coward's house in Pimlico, and I'm thinking of all the great stars that would have just climbed those stairs, Laurence Olivier, Richard Burton, Marilyn Monroe. Everybody went through that door when they visited Sir Noel in Pimlico. Yet when you get there, it's kind of just off a side street. You think, wow, all went on here. On a recent trip to Brighton, as many of you know who watch this channel on a regular basis, I was lucky enough to bump into quite a few of these wonderful blue plaques. And one really caught my eye because when you look at the story behind this particular gentleman, he ended up having a fantastic royal connection. And sadly for him, really it's kind of written away. Today we consider him to be something of an influencer, a real person that was out there, the talk of the town, the smart set, all of that sort of stuff. We're talking about Saki-Din Mohammed, and he has such a fascinating story simply because his life was that of many firsts. And not only did he end up, of course, having the ear of not one but two kings, but of course the ear of the Queen too. And this really was very powerful in that particular era, Georgian England and that particular circle. Let me tell you a little bit more. Born in India in 1759 into a Muslim family, and he began his career in the army of the British East India Company, where he served until 1782. He left to accompany his friend and commanding officer to Ireland, where he met and married a local woman, Jane Daly. The couple migrated to England. Mohammed was never short of ideas on how to make his living. In 1794, he published his first book about India, which apparently was the very first Indian book published in English. Now regarded as a bit of a, celebrity to say the least, he then opened his own very first London restaurant selling Indian food. That was near Portman Square. Fortunately though, Mohammed's restaurant was perhaps a little too ahead of its time and it fell into financial difficulties. However, his next career move was far more successful. Arriving in the beautiful resort of Brighton in 1814 at the height of the popularity of sea bathing, Mohammed promptly opened the indoor baths in Pool Valley on the seafront, now the home of this hotel, the Queen's. What was interesting, you see, was that Saki-Din basically was able to get the royals of the day, that is, of course, George IV, King George IV, and then William IV, to come in and have what they called vaporizing, health benefits. Basically to you and I today, massages with hot towels and fragrant oils. Because both kings had been there, his popularity literally soared and he became a major celebrity. But like everything, sadly, it went out of fashion. And what you're seeing here is the blue plaque outside the Queen's Hotel in Brighton to honour his memory. I often say here on the show is, and what I like to look at is this, we often look at people today, don't we, like David Beckham becoming an ambassador, for His Majesty the King. But it's all been done before, sometimes even better. And Saki-Din Mohammed really was out there breaking so many barriers. And isn't it nice to see that all these years later, just casually walking past that hotel on a beautiful sunny afternoon, his memory truly lives on. And now, all thanks to the power of technology, you and I know far more about him. Yeah? Neil Sean in the very heart of London.